good day to all students. So in this topic, I will show you to how to troubleshooting tips after installing a new hard drive. So let's proceed. So number 1, basic troubleshooting tips after installing a new hard drive based on segregate IDE hard drive. So here's the warning before we proceed. So always turn off the computer before charging jumper or unplugging cable and cards where a ground strap, or use other anti-statistication while working on your computer hardly. So it's very important because in this warning, sabi ko nga in the previous topic, always use anti-statistician clothes or unplug lagi yung mga cables kasi pwedeng magkaroon ng harm or pwede din magkaroon ng damage yung computer if hindi kayo nag-wear or hindi nyo ginawa yung mga proper ways for programming the computer. So next, so after read this some topic, I will show you the preferring for IND hard disk. So it is 2 types of possible cause of the IDE. So let's proceed. So verify compatibility. So verify that the host, adapter, and drives are appropriately matches to each other and to your computer. Refers to the relevant documentation for details. So the next is check all cards. Verify that all cards are settled in other slot on the motherboard and secure with mounting screw. So it's very important because if hindi secured yung screw ng motherboard, pwedeng mag-cause ng harm din dun sa motherboard or magkaroon ng damage dun sa motherboard. Kasi ang motherboard nga, sabi ko sa inyo, is very maselan kasi siya yung nag-co-control sa isang computer. So the next one is check all connectors and cable. Make sure all ribbons and power cables are secure, connected. Ribbons, cable, and easily damaged, especially at the connector. Try a new cable that you know it's good. So, in this previous topic, pinakita ko doon tinapik ko doon yung use ng cable at saka yung mga bagay na pwedeng maayos yung isang cable kasi nga yung cable din is is very easy to damage nga kasi 'di ba, lalo na sa mga laboratory, hindi pwedeng basta-basta kung saan lang nakalagay yung isang cable. So next is verify jump settings. So review the instruction in this guide and in your host adapter installation guides. So the next is check your power supply specification each time you add a new device to your computer. Make sure your computer's internal power supply can support the total power demand. So next, verify the drive type setting in the system setup program. So the drive type setting in the system BIOS must not exceeds the physical specialization of the drive. So next, check your virus before you use someone else's diskette in your system for the first time. Scan the diskette for the virus. So next, so here's before I proceed for the next topic. So if you installed a new IDA or IDE hard disk, but you are unavailable to prepare it for use, you can also have problem with the power and data cost. So there are two possible costs in joining the list. So the first is the hard disk could be figured as a non-present in the system BIOS. The drive should be configured using the auto setting to enable a drive to report if configuration to the system. Next is the drive is not jumpered correctly. So the oldest wire cables required to that drive jumbled as master and other as slave. Some brands of the drive don't use jumper if the only drive is on the cable. On other hand, 80 wires cable use cable select jumper for both drive using position of drive on the cable to determine which drive is primary master and which of the secondary slaves drive. Now, you know the cause what can use of system to have a problem recognize to your exist of new installing IDE hard disk. It is time to learn how to fix this problem. So next is after you install your new drive, your computer will not boot and no error message appear on the screen. So turn off the computer, open this case, and remove your new drive. So cost of this is to provide extra statistic to start damage to your computer or hard drive. Make sure you are well grounded before touching the drive cable, connector, or jumper. So move the jumper on the alternate capacity jumper as showing in figure 6. This causes the drive to appear to your BIOS as having a 1.1 gigabytes capacity. So it is 4,902 cyclist cylinder, 16 heads, 63 sectors per track. So remount your drive in the computer and replace the computer cover. So insert a bootable system diskette in a drive A and turn on the computer. So next, insert your disk wizard diskette into a drive A and type AXDM. So next, follow the disk manager instruction to install the dynamic drive overlay and to partition and format your new drive to its full capacity. Next is after this manager is done, reboot your system. You should see this manager band and be able to access the full capacity of your new drive. So there is in the boot device storage hard they are identify its bootable device into two ways. So it is number one, the bootable storage device identified itself to BIOS with what is known as a hard shake. The mother looks at the storage device hardware identification that is encoded with data such as manufacturer, mode of storage, capacity, storage speed, interface, connection, and stream data. Essentially, the hard drives or flash drive has introduced itself to system board. So number two is the board kept in the apparatus list to all of storage device attached to the PC. It's called the boot sequence or boot order. The first device that might identify itself as a boot device is the one your PC will boot from. So the motherboard then triggered instruction set to locate the device boot selectors and master boot records, or the MBR and the MBR start windows. So let's proceed. The screen remains black when you power up the system. If you step slighted about do not remind, it's probably try to follow. So here's the following. So make sure the monitor is unplugged and turn on. So check all cards. Make sure the video cards is settled in its slots and secure with mounting screw. So turn off the computer and remove the drive host adapter. If the screen turned on after you reboot, the host adapter may be incompatible or defect. It is so see your dealer. Next, the system does not recognize the drive. So here's the tip. Check all cable. Make sure the power supply is adequate for system needs. Next is reboot the computer and listen to make sure the drive monitor starts up. If the drive is very quiet, it may be difficult to hear this rich operating speed. If the drive monitor does not start up, recheck all drive cable. Next is verify that for each drive, a drive type is listed in system setup program. So next slide, try rebooting your computer by passing the Control Alt and Delete key simultaneously. So if the drive is recognized after you reboot the system, the computer BIOS test may be complete before the drive is ready. Check for I/O address conflict to isolate the conflict. Verify that the drive and host adapter are compatible with your computer. Next, the manager has installed the DDO on your hard drives and have bootable direct from this. Get the information in the boot record for the drive may not have been boot. So the dealer partition and format in the drive for you in the store, but the drive doesn't respond when you install. So here's the tips. Under it, reboot the computer and make sure the drive spin up. Check all the cables. Make sure the power supply is adequate for system needs. Make sure the DOS or Windows version and dealers used to partition and format the drives is the same version you have installed in your computer. If it's not, see your dealer. So next is verify the drive types values in system setup program. You must install the drive using the same drive types value your dealer used to partition the drive. So next, check for 1 or 0 address conflict between peripheral cards. So last is check your BIOS. So next, the system hung in the F disk or failed to create or save the partition record. So here's the tip. Check all cable. Your setup system diskette may be corrupted. Try using a backup diskette. So next, make sure the partition is smaller. So change the interrupt jumper setting on the host adapter. So some of BIOS have track zero protection feature that protects zero track from the virus. So the system error message drive not ready appears. So here's the tips. Check all cable connection. Make sure pin 1 of the drive is connected. to pin. One of the drive disk control or host adapter. So make sure the power supply is adequate for system needs. Reboot the computer and make sure the drive spins up. So the FD error message or no fix this present appear. So here's the tips. Sure the power supply is adequate for system needs. Verify the drive types values in the system setup program. Check for 10 address conflicts. So the drive does not format to full capacity. So here's the tips. Verify the drive types value in the system setup programs. One of the following problems may have occurred. So next, the values may be set with an incorrect transition characteristic. So next, you have entered a parameter value that accuse the physical capacity of the drive. So next, you enter a translator characteristic that does not take full advantage of the drive capacity. The next is the drive physical specialization exceed the translation limit imposed by the BIOS. So the DOS method or the disk boot failure, non-systemic disk or non-ROM, basically system header appear. So reinstall the DOS system fail using the DOS sims, utilize delete, check all cable, use FDs to verify that the primary version is active, check for the virus. So next is the system error message or the HDD control failure appear. So here's the tips. Confirm the jumper setting on the drive. Verify the drive type setting in the system setup. So this is the last part of the slide. So in this after the hard disk tips for this troubleshooting, I hope you learn this in this topic, and God bless you all.